words of wisdom for the kids out there?
Drink plenty of fluids on a hot day and get high in the music, not the drugs.
Welcome back, winners and losers. Week 6 NFL here at Take the Points. I'm Fat Sam. With me, as always, world famous T-Bone.
Present.
And our enforcer, Joey Guns. So let's get into the action for Week 6. A lot going on. We like a lot of games. We're in agreement with a lot of games. Mm-hmm. We have some.
That's scary, actually.
We have some differences that we'll talk about too. But we're going to highlight 3 games for you this week that we think are lock picks or that we really like, and
a little bit of analysis.
A little bit of analysis of those games. Hopefully, you become a patron through Patreon, and we can give you send you our picks, all our picks of what we like this week. Last week we went, all of us went over 60%. I myself went over 71%. We did quite well. So if you're looking for a little extra advice that you can take with you, put in your pocket, then become a patron. If you don't want to go that route, if you just want to take what we give you here in the podcast, then and you do well, then feel free to send us some money via PayPal. We'll have that in the description as
well.
And
link and subscribe and let us know what your thoughts are and what you think.
Yeah, we love comments. Joey Guns especially loves comments. So make sure if you think we're doing something good or we're doing something not so well, to let us know. We're trying to be something a little bit different that's out there and available right now. So. We're just 3 guys that have been doing this a while that really want to try to help you do better. So, without further ado, let's get into our 3 games this week. So, we can call it an upset pick of the week. We can call it a lock pick. I've taken it as both.
Is it an upset at this point?
It is. It is because they're getting points and they're home dogs.
And that would be.
So it would be, I went against them last week, but I love them this week. It's the San Francisco 49ers plus 3.5 at home.
Ugh.
Take the points. Take the money line.
Ugh.
I love this game for a lot of reasons.
I can't think of any.
Mostard is back. And
okay, one.
I think it's a divisional game.
True.
They usually play the Rams tough. I think that whether it's Jimmy G or Mullins that starts at quarterback, I think that we're going to have a good. I think Kittle's going to have a good game.
He needs to after last week. That was horrible.
And I just see them really playing the Rams tough and tight. The Rams aren't going to have the same cakewalk they had last week. They're playing great ball, though. Let me tell you something.
They're executing. That's the thing. They are executing right now. And granted, they went to the East Coast 2 weeks in a row, and they looked so-so against, I think it was Buffalo. But last week they looked really good against Washington. And I have a hard time buying into this one, only because I think that the pressure that the defense can bring against the 49ers is what's going to rule the day.
And I agree with what you're saying, but I will just caveat that with saying that everybody looks good against Washington, and I just see that this is more of a need win for San Francisco than it is going to be for the Rams. That this is going to tell a lot about their season.
But let me ask you this. So realistically, by comparison, you saw Miami just throttle the 49ers, and Miami's defense has to be in the bottom 3. So you really think it's going to suddenly change this week when they're playing a Rams defense that's probably top 10?
So one of the things that I will tell you in my experience is overreaction is a deadly thing when you are gambling. And to think that because a team, maybe they have a bad week, and maybe it was, I thought they were due for a bad week. I thought Miami was due for a good week last week. That was the main driving force, was that I felt the planets were aligned and Miami was due for a good week, and San Francisco was not going to have a good week. But they were home last week. They're home this week. I like them to get it back together. I like them to kind of right that ship.
And who do they go with at quarterback? Jimmy Garoppolo?
I'm not sure who starts this week. I know Jimmy had 1 fantasy point, I think.
They yanked him at halftime.
Almost two.
Yeah.
Almost two. Between Kittle and Jimmy G, I think I got 8.5
Right.
points.
And of course, if you were a daily player that also paired him with Kittle, that killed both your chances right there. So I don't know. I don't know if the 49ers can step up the way they need to against Aaron Donald.
Maybe not.
And that rough defense of the Rams.
Maybe not. And everybody knows that McVay's a genius. So they could, but I just see it being a closer, tougher game than what people think the overreaction crowd will think. Like you said, the Rams beat Washington by 30, so they should win this game 38-6. I see it being much more competitive than that, with San Francisco's the home dog squeaking it out at home.
Right.
So you're taking the points here. You're not necessarily saying San Francisco's going to win outright, but you are taking.
I think they will, but if I would say take the points. I would say take the 3.5. Take San Francisco in 3.5, and that's what I like. But will I be betting them money line as well? Yes, I will this week. So moving on, let's go into Bears at the Carolina Panthers. So this is a game that we both agree on. Boy, I tell you, Chicago's defense surprised me last week. How they shut down Tampa Bay. They're on a long week because they played on Thursday last week, and I don't see how there's any offense generated against that defense.
The same could have been said last week, because the final score was 2019. So they beat Tampa Bay by a point. So I was kind of amazed that against a pretty good defense, they were able to put up some points and be able to eke out the victory. This week, the difference is, and I'm a Carolina Panther fan, everybody knows this, is that I don't believe our defense can step up and, number one, hold the Bears below probably 20 points. I think they're going to at least score that again. And the flip side of that is Carolina always tends to look better against weaker defenses. They've played weak defenses the last 2 weeks in a row. I think Chicago has a pretty stealth defense. I mean, they're under the radar. They're very good. They're not great, but they're very good. And I just see them kind of hanging it on Carolina this week.
I agree. The fact that they're getting 2.5 points, I like taking again Chicago and the points here. Bridgewater's been great. They've won games without McCaffrey.
Yep, Mike Davis.
I think
is
they've
playing
been
well.
better than anybody thought. I just think that the Chicago defense clamps down, and this is another game where I'm saying you take the points, take the 2.5. Road dog, Chicago Bears.
I think that's an easy one.
I don't think they need to generate that much offense to beat Carolina this week.
I agree.
All right, moving on. I got the right sheet in front of me now. So moving on. This is your pick of the week.
Yes.
And you like Atlanta plus 3.5 against the Vikings.
Right. But let me explain that and why. So
I think you have to, too, though.
I will defer back to the previous week when Joey Guns himself pointed out that the Houston Texans had just had their coach fired.
Bill Brasky.
Bill O'Brien. And so his strategy was that because of that, Texans were going to play well and win. And that happened. That happened. And I will give you props where props is due. So this week, I am applying that to this game. And while as we've all seen Atlanta look horrible and give up huge leads and lose at the end of the game against Dallas and, again, pick a team, it seems like, this week I think it's going to be different. I think the same thing happens, that Atlanta now is going to play with some heart, for the coach that got fired. And I think they're going to have enough offensive going that they can, score the points and win. Because don't forget, Julio Jones has been out the last 2 games. I don't know if he's going to play this game or not, but if he does, that's all the better. But I think Atlanta actually pulls this one out.
I hate this pick. I'll just say that I am.
Which pick? You hate?
I don't like Atlanta plus 3.5. I know there's no Dalvin Cook this week, as you've said.
Yep.
But Minnesota was another one of those teams that made me a ton last week. I loved them. I love them at home this week. Atlanta, I just don't like Atlanta. I'll just say it. Maybe I'm biased.
They don't have much of a defense, so I mean that's understandable.
Gosh,
But
I don't
can
know.
they put up enough offense to overcome that? And if without Dalvin Cook, how good is Minnesota's offense going to be?
Their secondary is so bad that
Yeah.
I just think that it's going to be awful. I don't know. I see Minnesota really winning this game, but I can see your thought behind it. Again, like I said, I loved Houston last week, and they fired Brasky, and then look what happened. But we all were in agreement on that. Maybe that happens with Atlanta. My own personal opinion was Dan Quinn and Dimitroff the problems there. I don't know.
It was time for him to go.
Maybe, but I don't know if they're the ones that are had them play 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and then dissolve. Maybe,
Right.
but we'll see. Okay, so that's going to segue us into Joey Gunn's parlay pick of the week.
Uh-oh.
Well, guys, as you know, I've been doing pretty well in the past few weeks, ever since I went 0 for 7 on that parlay.
Turned
pick.
it around.
I've turned it around and, come through with a few now. This week I'm looking at the Baltimore-Philadelphia under 47.5, and I'm going to parlay that with Arizona-Dallas over
Ooh.
54.5.
Ooh, okay.
Now, the reason I'm going under on the Baltimore game is because I don't think Philadelphia can come up with more than 10 points.
Right,
And
right.
At some point, Baltimore is just going to retire at the sidelines with the starters and maybe run out the clock. So that's why I'm going with the under there.
I can see them Baltimore jumping out to a 20-0 lead at halftime, and then giving
right
up
there.
10 in the third quarter, and then that's the end of the game.
So I just don't see that one going.
It makes
over
sense.
47.5 with the defense there.
I get that.
And then the over. Obviously, both teams have been involved in a lot of shootouts lately. Big numbers from Dallas and Arizona over the last few weeks.
Neither team has a defense.
I see that
Of course,
going.
best wishes to Dak Prescott for a speedy recovery. That injury reminded me of a
Horrific.
Theismann injury years ago, and it just was horrible to watch, horrible to look at.
The foot's not supposed to point in that direction.
No, that was terrible. And he's a great player, and I think a great personality. So everybody wishes him the best. As a side note, though, the Red Rocket came in off the bench and laced some passes in there. So
Dandy Andy.
the offense was never the problem with Dallas. It was and still is their defense. So I kind of agree with that. It's going to be over if they can't play defense. Then
And Andy's got nothing to lose. So he's going to come out throwing.
and
to
I
Amari
like
Cooper.
Andy Dalton. Always liked him.
Right. And tight end Schultz. I expect him to have a big game. So I think this is going to be a points fest.
Yeah.
I think it's a
There
good
you go.
pick.
Take that.
I
Take
like that.
parlay, and I think it's going to work out well again this week. And I guess Sam, we can move on to your celebrity pick of the week.
Oh, the celebrity pick of the week. So we talk about
boy.
Joey Guns and his parlays. And if you remember 2 weeks ago, as Joe mentioned here just now, that he went 0 for 7. So one of our fans and huge YouTuber, Mr. Beast, contacted us and said that if Joey Guns can go 7 for 7 this week or 0 for 7, he will buy him a new car. So, of course, if you want those picks, you got to be a patron. I apologize because Joey's not going to give you all 7 picks here in this podcast. But we'll certainly let Mr. Beast know how that works out. And, maybe we'll post a video here of Joey driving a brand new car. Now, it may be a 1976 Datsun. I don't know. But
Kremlin.
it may be. But he didn't specify. But we'll see. But that goes on to his celebrity pick of the week. And he loves, Kansas City -4. Going into Buffalo. Buffalo's on a short week. They got handed their first loss.
They got throttled.
And he was all in on Kansas City at -4. So that's the celebrity pick of the week. Mr. Beast and all his YouTube cohorts, they like Kansas City, and they think that the odds of Joey Guns going 0 for 7 or 7 for 7 are pretty slim, so they're going to buy him a car if he does. So we'll be sure to keep you posted on that next week to let you know how that works out. Okay, so I think that's all we've got for this week. Again, become a patron, get all our picks, chat with us, Send us some money via PayPal.
Subscribe. Ring the bell.
Like. Leave comments. All that stuff. And, good luck, good fortune. And hit those books hard. And we'll see you next week.